patch notes. Destiny 2 update 7.3.0. Hold on, before we just start diving into this, good God almighty. This is a lot. Activities, ritual playlist, rewards for all ritual activities have been updated. Base Glimmer reward has increased. Added reward chance for enhancement cores. Glimmer and enhancement core rewards and chances increase. If you win a Gambit match, you win a competitive division game, you obtain a high score in a strike or a nightfall. Wow. Okay. If you win a Gambit match. Wow. Okay. Crucible. General. Crucible director screen has been updated. Implemented a double reward booster for Crucible. Citadel map is back. Crucible matches make a return to the Dreaming City. Sparrow control mode has been added to the Crucible. Adjusted spawn points on Endless Veil, Midtown, and Meltdown maps to alleviate certain spawn killing and trapping issues. Fix an issue with eliminations icon on the director's screen when it appears as a rotating mode. Fix an issue where attempting to revive a fireteam member can be interrupted by the respawn timer running out. All right. Competitive division. Removed promotion relegation series from all divisions except Adept and Ascendant. Fixed an issue with the competitive division where players were directed to complete placement matches twice. Competitive playlist now only has Survival and Countdown Rush as featured modes. Revised mode rules. Survival. Increase respawn count from 4 to 6. Countdown Rush. Decrease score to win from 6 to 5. Decrease round time from 120 to 90 seconds. Decrease heavy ammo spawn from 90 to 60 seconds. Enable unlimited respawns and revive. If the final round starts at 4-4, elimination rule set is enabled. This will show up as sudden death. Competitive division rating adjustments revive. Rank adjustment prioritizes win and losses and ignores inflation protection. By the way, your rank is really going to matter like a lot more this season, especially for those looking to focus rows. Iron Banner. One and done triumph now requires 8 challenge completions to align with the 2 separate challenges. Iron Banner Rupture fixed an issue where some eruption dialogue lines would play simultaneously. Now, medals. Added medals for Strand Supers. You can now earn a Crucible medal for eliminating with Sparrows. So literally for just getting a splatter. Crucible Labs. Added Checkmate Dominion to Crucible Labs. Added Checkmate Countdown Rush and Checkmate Clash to Crucible Labs. Ability cooldown penalty modifier decreased from 50 to 30%. Cooldowns should remain similar to in combination with the Season of the Wish abilities tunings. Okay? Because there was a pullback on that. Now, Countdown. Updated round victory banner for defenders to display defense successful instead of attacks failed. Added Countdown Rush as a competitive Crucible mode. Countdown Rush fixed an issue where music would cease to play after the first bomb has been detonated. Countdown Rush fixed an issue where sudden death would incorrectly begin. Checkmate Countdown updated the score to win to 5. Trials of Osiris added a weekly reward that is granted for the number of wins in a row you get before your card is flawed. Getting a longer win streak grants the rewards of all tiers below if they have not already been earned. So 3 wins is for Trials Armor, 4 wins is for Enhancement Cores, 5 wins for a Trials Weapon, 6 wins for 3 Enhancement Prisms. And we're probably going to get into it in just a second, guys, but you'll be able to actually exchange these materials for higher materials and vice versa. Now, Relic, the gameplay mode. Initial order of relics given out is now randomized per match. Added temporary overshield when picking up a relic from the relic depot. Maximum number of relic depots decreased from 4 to 3. Added new voice lines. Players will tend to spawn near teammate relic holders. Score to win increased from 150 to 175. Now, relic shield, angular velocity on Super's projectile tuned down from 43 to 30. Multiplier on damage tuned from 0.3 to 0.75. Increased shield super regeneration time from 3% per second to 5%. Decreased shield bubble regeneration time from 15 seconds to 10 seconds and increased full uptime from 7 seconds to 10 seconds. All right, so it's like a nerf and a buff, but more of a net buff. Spear ammo tuned up from 21 to 33. Scythe, decreased scythe ammo from 45 to 38. I don't know how many of you are crazy about Relic. I mean, it's a fun time. It's definitely not a game mode I spend just hours in. It's cool. It's cool. I'll give you that. Passive relic charge increased from 1% every 5 seconds to 2% every 5 seconds. Increased relic charge gain from player loadout kills, and the player who dealt the final blow gets an additional charge. All damaged participant players receive 10%. The player who dealt the final blow gets an additional 15%. Remove teammates gaining relic charge from relic depot interactions. Now for UI, relic waypoints blink when they're low on ammo. Relic waypoints will no longer show if it's not in your field of view. New scoreboard stats added. Some bug fixes fix persisting arrow waypoints over respawning relic depots. Fix duplicate relic energy charge. Instant announcements. I'm really surprised how many updates Bungie just did to relic. I didn't even know we needed that much stuff. All right, strikes. Lake of Shadows. Fix the map issue that allowed players to skip the dam section and jump directly into the boss arena. That Actually fantastic. Adjusted the number of champions on hero and legend difficulties and resolved an issue where certain champions were not counting correctly towards score. Now, Warden of Nothing fixed an issue where players could become soft locked at the treasure room. I can't remember exactly. It happened to me once, but yeah, it would be extremely annoying to where you couldn't do anything. You were just stuck, and then you just had to start the nightfall completely over. This has been an ongoing bug now for years, though. Lost sectors. Hydroponics fixed an issue where players would not be returned to orbit when failing the activity on legend or master difficulty. Fixed an issue where the lost sector had an unusually long respawn timer on open world difficulty. Deep dives fixed an issue where players who join in progress during the boss fight will spawn inside the room, but then teleport back up and into the water tube. Asha's empowerment buff now has a proper icon, and fixed an issue where players who join during the buff selection phase would not be able to select the buffs. Now raids. Crota's Inn fixed an issue with players losing alignment when attempting to pick up a sword while performing a finisher. Fixed an issue where some player abilities could go through hive barriers. So fixed an issue where some player abilities could go through hive barriers. What abilities were that? They're not talking about barrier champions where you can actually suspend them if you're too. Oh, hive barriers. Talking about blinking through the hive barriers. Yeah. So the right after the second encounter where you could blink through that wall, they fixed that. I was literally thinking of like a barrier champions, how you could, even after they pop their barrier, the way you cast your suspend, where you cast it could still get the suspend off. But that has nothing to do with that. This is the barrier within the raid itself. Now, Last Wish fixed an issue in the finale of Queen's Walk after depositing the heart where VFX would appear in the incorrect location. Fixed an issue that was causing Vault of Glass Oracle sound effects to play. UI and UX seasonal challenges. Fixed an issue where seasonal challenges from previous seasons were not automatically untracked and couldn't be manually untracked. Fixed an issue where bonus challenges counted toward the completion count for seasonal challenges. Some Guardian ranked stuff fixed the background tree in the drawer so that it shows up on various states. Fixed body text in the drawer so it would be displayed, italicized. I'm not going to get into all this. These are all UI changes. Some of them definitely like jump out to us. Director fixed an issue where the milestone icons were not appearing on the Helm's director node. All right, let's get into the big stuff. Gameplay and investment, armor, exotics, Aeon Swift, Aeon Safe, and Aeon Souls. We're also going to be doing a complete breakdown on these because I think they're going to be really good. Sect of Force, rapid precision hits provide quicker reload and weapon swap speeds, and the bonus now lasts for 10 seconds, up from 6. No longer grants bonus melee, grenade, or super energy on stunning a champion or defeating a boss or mini-boss. Instead, stunning a champion or rapid precision hits against champions, elites, or mini-bosses will mark them for your allies. Allies deal 20% more damage to marked targets. When a target is first marked, nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sect of Force role equipped gain grenade and melee energy. Now, Sect of Insight. Nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have Sect of Insight role equipped no longer gain a bonus to weapon damage for a short time. Instead, they gain a burst of super energy. Curious to know how much we're talking about. Now, keep in mind, things like Sect of Insight still going to have the same benefits where it provides heavy ammo and finishers, right? So that is still intact, and as well as Sect of Force and Sect of Vigor, unless they outline that they've removed the previous exotic trait or benefit. Now, Sect of Vigor now provides damage resistance against Cabans when an ally dies or is resurrected, in addition to the existing class ability energy. When you cast your super, nearby allies no longer gain an instant burst of healing or an overshield. Instead, nearby critically wounded allies gain damage resistance from combatants as long as they stay near you. Nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sect of Vigor role equipped will also recover class ability energy more quickly. Again, still very niche. We're just got to see how it plays out, man. Bungie really wants to see a fire team one day of everybody rocking Aeon Gauntlets and it be good. Because we have seen, Bungie return back to give these exotics some love. We'll see though. Now, Hunter, Shards of Galanor. Throwing knife kills now grant super energy ranging between 2.5% and 5%, depending on the type of combatant killed. I think Shards is going to be really, really good, by the way, guys. On top of the other benefits it already has, and on top of it being a solar surge environment this season. Ophidius Spade. Knife kills now grant a stacking damage bonus to throwing knives. It stacks up to 3 times for 5 seconds, which will be 30%, 60%, and 100% more damage. Dodging refreshes the timer. That's incredible. You'll be able to extend that substantially with your dodge. And then depending on how much damage we're talking here. By the way, does any of the knives stack at all with 1-2 punch? It shouldn't, but do any of the knives stack with 1-2 punch? They all should? I don't know. I'm being told they don't. I want to say not all knives did. I want to say not all knives were able to stack with 1-2 punch. We'll be testing this, but depending on which ones, and hopefully knife trick, right? Like, we're talking a tremendous amount of melee damage. Like, Ophidius Faith could become the melee king here, especially for hunters. Now, Stompies. Remove previously added requirements to have full class ability energy to benefit from the movement bonuses. Reduce the airborne lateral acceleration bonus. Now provides damage resistance against combatants while airborne. So essentially, OG Stompies is back. Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves. The sidearm damage bonus now persists for 5 seconds after your shield begins to recharge. Sidearm kills extend the damage bonus duration by 3 seconds. It completely reloads your sidearm from reserves. The damage bonus has been reduced in PvP to compensate for it lasting longer. It's now plus 10% sidearm damage, down from 35%. But again, in PvE, it's still 100% more damage. It's a massive buff for sidearms. Now, here's the thing. It's still going to require you to be critically wounded in order to activate. So it's still going to be sketchy, right? But when that does happen and you do swap to your sidearm, you'll be able to have that tremendous amount of damage. And then on top of that, you'll be able to carry it with you for longer. So more ease of use. Now, the Bombardiers now applies 20 slow stacks to enemy players and 40 slow stacks to PvE and combatants. Trident Vice increased glaive damage bonus while surrounded to 100% for both PvE and PvP, up from 30% in PvE and 10% in PvP. I still don't know how Bungie ever gave us that exotic and thought that 30% was enough. Celestial Nighthawk precision kills now grant super energy ranging between 1.5% and 4.5% depending on the target type killed. Increased golden gun impact damage by 25%. Look, I know I was really hung up on Shards of Galanor, but considering there's so much from the artifact mod that leans into precision shots, precision hits, and precision kills with ignitions and other things, and applying Scorch, Celestial could for real make a huge comeback right here. And on top of that, if you were to like wipe a champion with it, you get a good amount of super energy back. Now, Titan, Precious Scars. Kills with weapons matching your subclass now apply Restoration Tier 1 for 1.5 seconds of PvP and 3 seconds of PvE. Severance and Closure increase size and damage of the explosion. Kills with this exotic explosion will now trigger an additional explosion. Man, dude, Bungie really wants us to use Severance. Severance is really going to have to show us something amazing. It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. Every time Bungie has come out and given us a buff to Severance and Closure, we try it and we're like, but right here, kills this exotic's explosion will now trigger an additional explosion if that first initial explosion even gets the kill, right? Peregrine Greaves, you now have to be airborne for a brief time before the exotic effect will apply. Damaging champions, tormentors, or mini bosses with shoulder charge deals further increased damage and refunds your melee energy. That's massive. I mean, it just depends on how much more damage. So yeah, ease of use is being knocked down. It's going to require you to be airborne for longer, but depending on how much more damage we get out of it, could be huge. Worm God Caress, the Burning Fist exotic effect has been reworked. It is now a meter that increases on melee kills and finishers and decays over time. The meter decays more quickly the more full it is. The meter is broken up into 5 sections, which provide escalating melee and glaive melee damage bonuses. The upper end of the meter also provides escalating weapon damage bonus. Keep in mind though, it's still going to have that constraint of time, right? And it says right here, the meter decays more quickly the more full it is. We're going to try it out. My concern is that the ease of use won't necessarily be there. Ashen Wake, Fusion Grenade impacts now stun unstoppable champions. Send the steps, remove extended melee lunge distance. Guys, you will not get the ability to snipe with your melee with Syntheseps anymore, unless you're rocking Knockout. Increased glaive melee bonus though to 100% from 50%. Again, originally in life I was 200%. We're getting back to it, hopefully. Reduce the PV surrounded melee damage bonus to 165% from 200%. Now improves weapon handling and reload speed while surrounded. Now, Warlocks, Ballador's Wrathweavers. Now, when you cast a Frost Pulse Rift, nearby allies gain a Tier 2 Stasis Surge weapon bonus for 10 seconds in PvE and 5 seconds inside of PvP. They also gain a 50 HP overshield. Now, that's actually pretty incredible. When you cast a Rift, a Frost Pulse Rift in PvP, you get a 5-second Tier 2 bonus. What is that, 17%? Oh, it's 4% inside of PvP. Oh, because the tiers are different. Yeah, don't worry about it. The stasis damage bonus provided to allies by the Winter's Wrath Shockwave is now the Tier 4 Stasis Surge weapon bonus. When Winter's Wrath ends, you now gain the Tier 4 Stasis Surge weapon bonus. Now, Apotheosis Veil. Casting your super now grants Cure Tier 3 for you and nearby allies. After your super ends, you now temporarily gaining greatly increased melee and grenade regeneration for 8 seconds. Felwinter's Helmet. Move the size of the weakening burst and duration of weaken up 1 tier against all enemies, except for finishers against bosses, which retains the maximum size and duration. Felwinter is so good, guys. It really is, man. with the right fragment combinations on Void, you could be such a great support on your GM teams by rocking Fel Winners. Now, Karnstein Armlets. Melee kills now grant Cure Tier 3 and Restoration Tier 1 for 8 seconds. Finishers now grant Tier 3 and Restoration Tier 2 for 8 seconds. We're going to be looking at this. Some people are saying this is actually going to be a net nerf for Karnsteins because now it's synergizing with 3.0. We'll see. Armor mods. All right, we've got a lot of changes here to armor mods. Heavy-handed Firepower Reaper added a 10-second cooldown for generating Orbs of Power. That is rough. Reaper now requires a kill to be secured within 10 seconds of using your class ability to generate an Orb of Power. Melee Kickstart, Grenade Kickstart, Utility Kickstart now only refund ability energy if the player has at least a single armor charge. They now provide between 16 and 45% ability energy, down from 17% and 50% respectively, based on how many stacks of the mods are equipped, as well as how many armor charges that they consume. All around big nerfs here for ability regeneration. Momentum Transfer. Bolstering Detonation, Impact Induction, and Focusing Strike now provides 12%, 17%, and 20% ability energy for 1, 2, and 3 stacks respectively, down from 20%, 25%, and 25%. I love it. They just cap out here. Okay. Impact Induction and Focusing Strike now require a power melee attack to function. Outreach of Bomber now provides 12, 17, and 20% ability energy for 1, 2, and 3 stacks respectively. The energy gain is further reduced based on the cooldown of the class ability used, with the shortest cooldowns reduce it by 60%. Distribution now provides 4, 6, and 7% ability energy to the neutral game abilities and 2, 3, and 4% super energy for 1, 2, 3 stacks respectively. The energy gained is further reduced based on the cooldown of the class ability used, with the shortest cooldown reducing it by 60%. Now, additional note, all of the above mods continue to provide only 50% of their ability energy returns at PvP. All right, so just take everything, cut it in half, right? For PvP people. I'm tired of the rocket science type equations to make a simple mod work. Well, it is build crafting. But no, this is Bungie's way of nerfing abilities. They're saying that ability uptime is too high. Now, other fixes. Fix an issue where Trident Vice's buff is not displaying correctly in the HUD. Fix an issue where acquiring Artifice Armor before non-Artifice Armor would prevent it from being available as an armor ornament. Fix an issue where slotting many decaying armor charge mods would cause them to stop functioning. Updating the Iron Samachi armor set to current Iron Banner rewards and focusing decoding, and moving Iron Companion set to legacy decoding. Fix an issue where the Arc Souls could shoot at a lower rate of fire if created via Getaway Artist. That's literally the exact opposite of what Getaway Artist is supposed to do. Fix an issue where the Arbor Warden was not playing barricade sound effects for other players. Fix an issue preventing foe tracers' visors' visual effects from functioning. Now, moving on to weapons. Weapon archetypes. General updated Drang and Zalo Banes to load ammo at the correct point in the animation. Auto rifles. General increased damage against minor red bar combatants by 10%. That's very nice. Pulse rifles. General increased damage against minor red bar and major orange bar combatants by 12.5%. You're going to see this compound for certain exotics that got individual buffs. We'll talk about it here. It's probably going to read it in just a second. Glaives. Projectiles. Increased projectile speed by 30%. Increased projectile damage in PvE by 25%. Decreased projectile damage in PvP. Aggressives 123. Adaptives 113. Rapids 101. Yeah, there was a whole... Here we go. When the glaive is held, shield energy now recharges passively at a rate of 1% per second. Set up the base glaive shield damage resistance to be tiered in PvP. So again, the main takeaway here, the glaive has to be held. I am concerned people are going to just sit in the back of the map holding a glaive and charging it, you know, and then proceeding to push up and tank for their friends. We'll see how it plays out. Now, set up the base glaive shield damage resistance to be tiered in PvP. Base glaive shield damage resistance remains at 50%. Reduce damage resistance against primary ammo weapons and melee attacks to 30%. Now, melee. Reduce the delay after firing before you can melee from 0.75 seconds to 0.2 seconds. Sniper rifles. General, this is a huge buff. Increase sniper rifle PvE damage with a flat buff of 15%. This also applies to exotic sniper rifles that use heavy ammo. So Whisper, Darcy, but also things like Cloud Strike, and most notably, Honed Edge ×4 on Izanagi's Burden will be getting that buff. It's a very, very nice buff. We're going to see where sniper rifles sit DPS-wise this week. Now, swords. Updated the sword reticle to convey more information and now have elements that better show its current charge state and reflect its current recharge delay. Caster swords and other swords that fire projectiles now have a subtle central element on the reticles, in addition to these updates to assist in aiming. Fix an issue causing sword perks that activate while guarding to not activate properly while the player has an overshoot of any kind. Fix an issue causing knockback to not be negated while blocking with a sword while the player has an overshoot of any kind. Fix an issue where unpowered ammoless swords still receive buffs from Banner of War. All right, moving on to our exotic weapons. These are the big ones. Vex Mythoclast, increased damage versus minor red bar combatants by 10%, bosses by 25%, and champions by 200% when in its linear fusion rifle form. Keep in mind, these buffs here or should affect both its auto fire function and its linear function, but the 200% buff is going to melt. Revision 0. On top of the pulse rifle buff we just went over, they're also increasing damage versus champions by 100%, which should apply to its sniper rifle. Thorn. Picking up a remnant can overflow the magazine up to 40 rounds. Thorn Catalyst will also improve stats and functionality, adds plus 20 to the range, add plus 10 to stability. Kills or picking up a remnant grant additional range, as well as handling and mobility. Now, it's interesting here. This right here, this overflow function is not tied to the catalyst. It will be tied to Thorn. And the catalyst, these are the benefits of the catalyst, which is still really good. All right, class glaives. General changes: grant 1 ammo when you activate the perk, so you can use it even if you're out of ammo. Big change. No longer passively drain shield energy when you special ammo reload to activate the perk. Can no longer be deactivated by reloading or stowing the weapon. Now, Edge of Intent Warlocks. Killing turret projectiles now provide cure and restoration and detonate in an 8-meter radius area of effect to provide the benefits to nearby allies. Increase the mag size from 4 to 5. Edge of Action. Titans. Passing through the bubble now grants bonus reload speed, handling, and a small amount of stacking bonus damage in addition to the overshield. Reduce the health of the bubble from 8,000 to 2,400 to account for the increased uptime and improve effects. Also, this synergizes with Elma's Saint 14. Edge of Concurrence Hunter. Lightning Seeker now jolts targets on impact, reduces the direct hit damage of the round that generates the lightning bolt to account for free ammo being granted. Osteostriga. Remove the submachine gun SMG damage bonus scaler that was affecting the poison damage. This brings Osteostriga poison damage to match standard necrotic grip poison, though it will still deal 40% bonus damage versus minors for being an exotic. We're going to be looking at that in more depth. It is a nerf, for sure. I think Osteo is still going to be very strong. Now, Salvation's Grip. Place a speed limit on the detonation when damaging stasis crystals. This will help prevent the detonation from being able to shatter too many crystals on a single frame, which would sometimes kick the player to orbit with an error code. Holy shit. Salvation's Grip shatter kills and Headstone stasis crystal shatter kills no longer use a blank icon on the kill screen. All right, so they're just trying to keep you from getting booted. Tommy's Matchbook updated the description to strings to properly communicate that Scorch functionality is tied to the catalyst being equipped. Winterbite increased the detonation damage of the large projectile by 25%, but the self-damage blast radius has been halved and the self-damage has been reduced. Monte Carlo, the bayonet stab now has controller rumble. For that extra vibration. There you go, guys. Wicked Implement. Fix an issue causing Wicked Implement spawn stasis shards from activating the collective action perk. Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought that was a nice feature. Two-Tailed Fox. Fix an issue causing Two-Tailed Fox to revert to void damage when stowed while empty. Quicksilver Storm. Fix an issue where Quicksilver Storm plays special reload animation in third person instead of a normal reload when normal reload is executed. Fix an issue where Quicksilver Storm foregrip animates when firing the auto rifle mode. And then Tractor Cannon. Fix an issue where Tractor Cannon was missing a hipfire reticle. Now, perks. Danger Zone. We made a small change to how it works on rocket launchers. You can figure it out. Heavy Grip. Removing an unintended effect that was slightly increasing income of flinch. Precision Instrument. Enhanced Precision Instrument damage bonus at max stacks from 26 to 30%. Kinetic Trimmers. Made the activation requirements more consistent across archetypes. Pulse Rifles reduced from 12 to 11. Enhanced, though, has been increased from 9 to 10. Non-burst sidearms reduced from 12 to 8. Enhanced reduced from 9 to 7. I hope you kept a buzzer with kinetic trimmers. General added foundry weapons as a reward from lost sectors. I'm not going to go through each one of these because a lot of these, again, we're just kind of repeating what we've already went over. The big one here, updated legendary and exotic sparrows to have 2 speed selections. One matching always on time, one matching the previous high speed. The main takeaway is all sparrows will be the same. There will be some extra benefits from always on time, but they all should be the same. We're going to be trying out today. Also, they increase the health. It's still going to get shredded in GMs. Now, abilities, all subclasses. Reduce melee lunge suppression time for victims struck by certain displacing melee abilities from 1 second to 0.5 seconds. This affects the following melee abilities: grapple melee, pocket singularity, shield bash, seismic strike, hammer strike, and shiver strike. Also, you will no longer be able to sprint and slide activate melees, meaning you run in there with a shoulder charge and a shotgun combo. When you slide and you shoot, you are not going to be able to follow up with a melee combo, whether that's lightning surge, whether it's tempest strike, fletched storm, all of these right here, all the shoulder strikes, shoulder charges, you won't be able to do it. Blink. Fix an issue where rapid blinks could result in failed slide attempts. Now, all non-super abilities, neutral game abilities now receive variable amounts of ability energy. This is actually interesting here, guys. Essentially what they've gone in there, instead of it being like, hey, this mod gives you 10% energy back when you use your grenade. What Bungie stated in the TWAB and they're stating here now is that 10% means much more on a grenade that has a 150-second cooldown versus a grenade that only has a 90-second cooldown, right? So they've gone in there and they've essentially equalized that bar to where it's the same chunk of energy you get back regardless of the grenade, or as close to the same as they can get. Arc subclasses Hunter. Tempest Strike increases base damage from 110 to 125. Reworking tracking behavior to be more consistent for the ranges. Improve consistency when traveling over rough terrain. Titan Thundercrash. Reduce damage resistance versus players from 53 to 25%. Wow. Bungie did not mention that before. You're going to be able to kill the Thundercrash before it reaches you. That's huge. Fixed an issue where Thundercrash was using the incorrect tier of damage-based energy recharger. Warlock Chaos Reach. Fixed an issue where Chaos Reach was using the incorrect tier of damage-based energy recharger. Arc General Amplified. Update first-person amplified visual effects. Okay, it seems like it's about to put us in. Titan Throwing Hammer. When you pick it up, it now returns melee energy over 1.4 seconds rather than instantly. Increase projectile tracking strength by 20%. This should be a pretty substantial nerf. Obviously, like not for like GMs, but if you're sitting there trying to shred a boss down, it's going to be a nerf. Soul Invictus. Reduce maximum sunspot duration from 20 seconds to 12 seconds. Warlock's Well of Radiance. Increase the base cooldown from 417 seconds to 455 seconds. Now, Solar General Restoration. Reduce healing rate at Restoration 1. These are the different values, old versus new. Titans, Ward of Dawn. Increase base cooldown from 417 seconds to 455 seconds. Now, what this means is that hopefully trials won't just be full of bubbles and wells. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how that plays out. Cinder Shield. Shield throw ability energy regeneration while Cinder Shield is active and is no longer dependent on the player's discipline stat. Regeneration time previously ranged from 2.5 to 5 seconds based on discipline and is now a flat 3 seconds at all times. Note, this regeneration rate is reduced for the second shield throw charge when offensive bulwark is equipped. Warlock Feed the Void. Increases grenade energy regeneration per kill while Devour is active by 100%. Note, actual energy gain amounts vary based on the target type and grenade recharge tier. This is going to be all around a huge buff here with Devour changes. Now also improves the strength of Devour's heal when equipped. See below as for base Devour behavior changes. Withering Blade is getting a buff. Winter Shroud is getting a buff. Shiver Strike getting a buff. We've kind of already, we've went over a lot of these. Frost Pulse is going to be nasty on Warlocks. A lot of these ability changes I really just want to look at more when we actually flesh out builds. Banner of War is getting a nerf, and then a bunch of different changes to the reward structure in terms of what you can trade things out for. Again, legendary shards for everybody wondering. Bungie's removed all legendary shard costs from the monuments to Lost Light. They removed all legendary shard costs from all ritual and focusing costs. Everything has been moved to Glimmer and Ingrams. Now, you can still exchange legendary shards, though, for Glimmer, Sin Alloys, and stuff like that. But you do have the rest of the season to spend those. All right, that's all we're going to cover. Let's game.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.